All right. Welcome to another episode of the Freezin NFC North Podcast, episode 74, week 17 review, week 18 preview. Got a little discombobulated, thinking about this epic showdown in week 18, Bears Packers. We'll get to that. But we did have the Lions get screwed by the refs. We'll talk about that for sure. Packers dominated those Vikings, as many of us thought. I don't know why they were so confident, but we'll get into that as well. And the Bears soared into their Week 18 finale as well. Lots to get to, and I'm gonna welcome in Steve. Let's see if he's got video as well. And Steve is another Packer fan here, and but as we get going, he's in the dark, and that's okay. We'll bring him into the light. Maybe become a Bear fan very soon. But welcome back, Trevor. Where can everyone find you as we get started?
Yeah, you can follow me on YouTube, Kempner Sports, or on X at RevTrevK.
Very good. And welcome again, Seventh Letter. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on X, Twitter, 7th letter 4, same OG, Instagram, Facebook, and on top of the NFC North.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we kind of see you a little bit, Steve. I don't know if are you willing to come into the light and become a Bears fan? Are you with us, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Where can everyone find you? Welcome for the first time. As we get started, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube for Sports Talk Network. You can find me on Twitter at Army_strong_06 at Talking_Packers. And of course on Instagram at Steven_06.
All good stuff. All good stuff. Well, it's crazy that we're already at week 18. And it really did. And I mean, I think some things happened as we thought they would. And some things didn't quite happen as we thought they would, but it's been a great season, and week 17 was an interesting one. And so let's just kind of get to one of the most interesting games of the weekend. So seventh letter, what happened versus the Cowboys in week 17?
What happened in week 17 is that Derek Barnes missed a sack that could have been a safety, and he let Dak Prescott get loose and hit CeeDee Lamb for a 92-yard touchdown. The end part probably should have never happened. They called the tripping on the wrong player, so it sent them back. So they probably would have ran the clock out. I mean, the refs made it interesting and then took it back. So I know what it is. You know what I mean? I know we're good enough to beat the Cowboys if we see them again. I think that we learned a lot from this. To put it down, I mean, it hurts in a moment because this kind of always happens. You know what I mean? And they've been kind of doing this all year. But when you're a good team, you're able to overcome those things. You know what I mean? Remember the first game, we had a right tackle lining up in slot the whole game until there was a minute and a half left in the game. They could have threw a flat. It doesn't matter. I feel like Aiden Hutchinson gets held every game, all game long. You know what I mean? And they call him a complainer in Chicago. But I see them grabbing it, and this thing is up here the whole time. So you get cheated all the time, but the good teams get over it. You know what I'm saying? And we have been. We're good enough to get over it. Just not this time. It probably shouldn't even been at that point. You know what I mean? I like our resiliency to get down the field, though. I don't like the punk game plan they had, trying to play cat and mouse with them, when we could have just – the best drive of that game was after halftime, when we just – David Montgomery, bop, 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 first down. I don't know why we never did that again the whole game. Never did it again. And that's how you beat them. There's documented evidence of that's how you beat the Cowboys. Everybody that beat the Cowboys did that. And we just go away with it, trying to run screens and Jared Goff getting picked, trying to do these little punk quick plays. That's how we lost. We probably cute when we should have just pounded them. but it wasn't the refs, whatever. It was some bullshit. We're used to it. You know what I mean? They stole from us in Cowboy Nation before, so whatever.
Trevor, what were your thoughts when you saw kind of the end of that game?
Yeah, well, I agree that I thought that they should have got him in the sack, but that throw to CeeDee Lamb and the route running and the improv was amazing. But at the end, man, like, well, I just didn't. It didn't make sense. It looked like to me that he went and said he was eligible. Okay, so I think that he totally got screwed on that.
He did.
But what I didn't understand was this: why didn't you go kick the extra point after? Like, why didn't you? It was
that's
just
his MO, though,
like,
right?
That's him.
Huh?
You live by the gun, you die by it. Like he got us here acting like that. So it's whatever. Like
I know, but it's like the fake punt that he did against us, and like it worked against them.
right.
Like, he does that, and I'm like,
Live by it.
I literally go, it didn't work against us.
Right.
Keep playing that way, Dan, because look, twice now it screwed you over. So
I did it the first game against the Chiefs too. You know, like that's how he play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the players have to love that.
It just didn't make any sense to me. Kick the extra point. I think they're the better team. The Lions are the better team. You would go score in overtime, but maybe the Cowboys win, and then everyone's criticizing Dan.
Right.
Well, it's got to be a strong statement to the players. You know, I'm sure they love that. And speaking of strong, Army strong, Steve, you've joined us. What were your thoughts on the Lions ending in that game?
Yeah, it looks like I would say the Lions got screwed out of the win, you know, and it's just unfortunate and everything that went down in that play, and I was actually hoping for the Lions to get the win here there against Dallas, and it was unfortunate that wasn't the case. You know, the third time I would think go for the extra point as well, then try to win in overtime. You know, would be best for them, and you know, Dan Campbell, that is his MO, you know, and how he's done this whole season. His players love it; they feed off of it. But in that situation, in a game that means so much now, looking back on it, let alone then, would have been a smart play to just go for the extra point, see what you can do in the overtime, beat Dallas, and move forward. And could have been number one seed. But now, whether the Lions are 3 or 2, I still think they have a good chance to make a roar, make some noise in the playoffs. And for the Packers, you know, we're just trying to get in. But as for that game, yeah, it was unfortunate. And I do definitely get the vitriol from Lions fans that I saw on social media, that I've talked to, from my own friendships made. So it's unfortunate, but I'm sure they move forward. They're taking it off and be able to you know, focus on the Vikings, get the win there, try to be a 2 seed, and then the playoffs. It's a whole new battle. It's a whole new square circle to be in. So hopefully Dan Campbell is ready for it. Hope the Lions are ready for it, and we'll see what that team's made of then.
I was gonna say it's so interesting. I mean, obviously, if you're in the playoffs, I mean, anything can happen, right? And so I can see, you know, obviously, you want to win that game to get a higher seed, but I can see Campbell and the way he came out in the press conference and said, kind of, well, what did he say? The controlled fury, and I can see him kind of using this loss more as like a motivation and a rallying cry, like, you know, see. You know,
they don't. I see, because I know that I think that the reason why he went for it's a game that we played against the Seahawks where he just played for a field goal, and he ever since then, like, I just knew he would never do that again. He playing to win, and I think even with this, it being a big game Saturday night, everybody's, you know, we box office, like everybody love to see the Lions on TV because it's always exciting.
Didn't used to be that way.
Even with the whole fiasco at the end, it was exciting. But I think he'll even learn from this. Maybe I should take the extra point if we at the 7. You know what I mean? He's still a young coach too. You know what I mean? But I see he learns. He's big. He's a big enough man to understand when he's wrong. Even when he was on the radio, he was like, "Yo, tell me what you really want to say," and he let the guy on the radio say, "Listen, you probably should have kicked the field goal, bro." He was like, "Yeah, I made up my mind. Maybe next time I'll do that." So I appreciate it. I was saying go for 2. Fuck that. We at the 10. Go. I don't care. I hate the Cowboys, so I want to beat them. I don't want to go into overtime and play around. I felt like we played around too much. Go for 2. Fuck it. Let's go.
Well, yeah. I mean, you talk about like sending a message to another playoff team, right? I mean, that's going to be that could come back in the playoffs later on to say, okay, well, maybe we're scared to play this and we don't know what we're going to get. But, speaking of team, we don't really know what we're going to get from week to week. And I see you're drinking the Kool-Aid there, Trevor. So tell us what happened. How did the Packers dominate the Vikings 33-10? Hand out some helmet stickers.
It was glorious. It was glorious. Listen,
I needed a tie. A tie.
You did need a tie. I heard that because I remember you saying you're going to cheer for the Packers this week, and then the game starts and they go, the Bears need a tie. And I'm like, dang it. Now Andy's cheering for a tie. Okay, so everything aligned. Everything aligned. It was complete domination from the beginning to the end. There was no point in the game where I'm like, this team's going to beat us. We dominated them from kickoff to the end of the game. And it was unbelievable. Of course, Jordan Love, 4 touchdowns, amazing player of the week, right?
3 passing touchdowns, though. 3 passing.
4 touchdowns, I said. 4 touchdowns. I don't know if you can count, but 4 touchdowns. And so 4 touchdowns, throwing dots. That one to Jaden Reed across the middle was beautiful. I mean, Reed is just dynamic out there. And then get out of the blue, the guy that we all put money on, Bo Melton. Everyone started him in their fantasy football championships. Totally. Like, who's not going to think 6 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown? Like, come on now, right? So this has just been like, it is so fun. That was so fun because we needed to win. It was a big game for them, but I knew we were going to win the moment they said Jaron Allen is going to be the starting quarterback. Like, I came on the show and I talked to those guys, right? And then I went into our buddy's Vikings Uncensored stream. I wasn't like here. I was just typing. And I'm asking them, like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, Jaron Allen. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like, I'm thinking in my head. And I'm like, there's no way I'd be starting Jaron Allen in the biggest game of the year. It's his first start.
Who, Jaron Hall?
Sorry.
Jaron Hall.
My bad. He's so irrelevant, I don't know his name. Okay?
He's young.
Jaron Hall, right? So are you kidding me right now? Jaron Hall is your starting quarterback in the big. Oh, well, Mullins threw 4 picks last week. He had 400 yards. And then when you watch it, I literally, I wish I would have said this on my videos and here with you, Andy, I knew that they were going to put Mullins back in the game eventually. Whether it was they won and he went in and kneeled down and did the victory thing, or what I honestly thought was Hall was going to struggle so bad. He's going to struggle so bad that Mullins was going to come back in. So at halftime, I'm like, oh crap, they're putting in Mullins, and then he looked better, but he's not good enough. Their quarterback situation is just terrible. So our defense looked amazing. Like Joe Barry, I thought he was getting fired. Apparently, he's getting a contract extension.
Bears will fire him this week. So that's right.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think he's still going to get fired personally, but it was nice to see him have a good game plan. So
I was going to say you had a great point. The Vikings coach, they've been going back and forth on quarterbacks, and I totally get that. You want to try to get a spark or whatever, but there's something to be said about, like, even if you have a bad game, there's something to be said about having a veteran in a big game. Even if he threw the 4 picks or 10 picks, you have a veteran who's been there before, who's done it. Obviously Jaron Hall, I mean, he may turn out to be good. But he's young, and that was a huge spot. Obviously it was at home, but just having the veteran, and now obviously they're going to be going back to Mullins. So it's just kind of, yes, their quarterback situation is messed up, but it may have been a little bit closer if Mullins had started just, to have veteran. But I just, and we talked about this last week, 7th letter. Like, I don't know how the Vikings were favored. I don't know how they were so, confident. Just, I mean, And it kind of made me sick last week to say that I was still kind of drinking the Packer juice a little bit.
Nah, I kind of saw this one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once they realize, like if it's either they blitz or put everybody back, and that's just perfect for Jordan Love to pick apart, because he got one thing he has, he could throw off his back foot with a quick release. He got a whole bunch of little receivers, and they run a lot of slants and get open. Like I saw, it was just a recipe for destruction, in my opinion. I kind of saw it coming.
So, Steve, have you joined us back? We're just talking about like the confidence. Like, were you confident as a Packer fan, kind of going into that game versus the Vikings, and just think that they were gonna come out on top?
Yeah, it was subdued confidence in regards to us against the Vikings. I mean, we went up against the quarterback in Jaron Hall, and thinking that we should be able to take care of them easily. But with our defensive coordinator and how we played in the past couple of weeks, also, you never really know. Any quarterback we face could have record set days against our defense. So even though I was confident in general that we could get the win against Minnesota, it was also on the road. Our defensive woes, but very pleasantly surprised in what happened in regards to the game as it unfolded.
Absolutely. Well, I was pleasantly surprised going at the Bears game versus the Falcons. We talked about last week that we were favored, but I mean, you just never know in those type of games what the coaching was going to do. But my guy Justin Fields came to play, and most interestingly enough, the crowd was cheering for Fields, and just that we want him back, and so I was excited to see that. And I feel like it's a national narrative, right? A lot of people are talking about kind of him moving on or being traded or whatever, but when you talk of what he can do, and I put this in the chat, I mean, he is a magician. I mean, a couple of those, there's only 2 or 3 quarterbacks that can actually do that. Some of those things. Mahomes is one of those. I don't even know who else is. I know Jordan Love's not one of those. But
I wouldn't even give him that many. It's him and Lamar Jackson.
It's Lamar Jackson.
That's the only 2 people. He got that kind of talent.
And some of those passes, in the snow, and that corner dime to DJ Moore.
That's dangerous. Now, y'all if y'all good and y'all can rack up like 9 wins before the month of December comes and that weather comes into play, y'all will be extremely fucking tough. That's what I saw. I said, "Oh, it's snowing." Oh, they wasn't ready for that. This is gonna be a blowout.
Yeah. I was more surprised that obviously the Bears have been good against the run, but I was more surprised that I feel like Arthur Smith, they just didn't use Bijan as much as I thought, and it was Algier who had that nice long touchdown, and that had me a little bit afraid, but I feel like they kind of came back and just kept got the momentum back. So I was happy with that win. Trevor, what were your thoughts as you watched my Bears dominate?
Well, it's funny because when you got 2 non-playoff teams, they're not on TV.
Well,
so
the
I
Falcons,
didn't see it. I would have recorded it. I would have watched it. All I knew is I looked at the score. I got home, looked at the score, and wow! Like I thought they were going to win
at halftime, man.
But the Falcons still can make the playoffs. By the way, they could still win the division.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just crazy to me. That is crazy.
They're
I mean, that whole division is messed up anyway.
Yeah. It is. Yes.
That division's awful.
Yeah.
Well,
but I saw the Justin Fields magician move. That was epic. That's as a fan base, you guys must have just been loving that. What a play. I mean, that was awesome.
He crazy. He did it to me and scored a touchdown last year. I'm like, how do they not? He don't even look that big, and they grab him and he just spins out. And I'm like, what the fuck is this going? Like, what's going on? But
so that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he doesn't look that big, but hear from some of these reporters that he actually looks like a linebacker. Like he is bigger than in person. He is bigger, and so that's what I like. I mean, obviously, there's there's going to be that narrative going into the offseason. Caleb Williams, this, that. Caleb Williams. I don't even know his measurables, but I mean, he is tiny. These tiny quarterbacks. What's that?
He's 6'1", but he is 220, 6'1", and he's not small, but he's just not tall. You know what I mean? He's not tall, but he's like Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes like 6'1", right?
See,
Like,
I'm not necessarily a fan. I'm not a fan of all these comparing. I mean, Mahomes is Mahomes. Like,
it'll pass when you see that ball come out his hand. Like, ooh, oh.
Well, he's got to actually, have pocket presence.
That's okay.
Are you?
Look at Mooney. Oh,
yeah. Mooney's not going to be
okay.
Back,
give me another one of those bums. Oh, Velus Jones could catch.
No, Velus Jones.
Dude, that was on time, wasn't it? Ooh. Look at that.
Yes.
Ooh, look how it come out his hands.
Steve, are you worried about Justin Fields going forward at all?
Not too much right now, and heading into next season, maybe. The Bears are able to actually do well in the draft. I mean, they secured the number 1 overall draft pick thanks to the Panthers, and depending on what they do there, build something around Justin Fields, then maybe, because I think he can be dangerous, and if he can, I would say sure up in regards to the actual passing game. I think that they could combine his talent of running and being able to do the Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson type running stuff, that he'll have a full repertoire to be able to be like those two, because those two also can throw, also be accurate. And I think that's the one aspect in this throwing game that I think he needs to work on. So hopefully he does it in the offseason. I think that the Bears can put pieces around Fields to make Fields the best Fields he can be, then there is something to worry about. No, I know I heard from some Bears fans that even after performance here that might want to move on from him. That's interesting to hear as well. Not all the Bears fans and Bears Nation want to keep Justin Fields. They want to move on. They see that the grass can be greener. I don't think so. I think you have somebody there, and you just gotta build around it and actually do something.
You got to coach him up too, and I don't know if you guys caught the stuff that Mike Tomlin said on a podcast. Anybody catch that about coaching? Sometimes the coaches will say, "Well, the player needs to learn. It's on him." And yes, it's on these players, but Mike Tomlin really came out, and he's actually on my list of, like, if he was available, I'd love him as a Bears coach. Like, he is. He basically said, like, if players, were, good at, obviously, continuing to learn, we wouldn't need as many coaches. And it's on the coaches to really help these players understand what they're trying to get across. And that's been my problem with Getsy, and from the get-go this season. And even in the off season, they changed his footwork, and it was all, well, we're going to try to make him into Aaron Rodgers, because that's all Getsy had in his mind that could be successful. And so, like, I know Seventh Letter, you keep talking about, Justin Fields, like, fumbling and all this. And I think a lot of it is, like, he's overthinking it. Like, they're in his head. And that's really pissed me off of, like, that's kind of
I want him to do good. Not against us, but I do. I've always wanted him to do good. I told you, I want him to do good. He black.
Yeah.
I want him to do good. I don't want nobody to set the black quarterback no more than they already have been. I want him to do well. But I just don't think it's going to be there. I don't think I just don't like the way they treated him when y'all got the homeboy with the arm wrestling father. You know what I'm saying? When the arm wrestling father came, they was just talking about him like he was this, and the stats was sucking, but they still was liking him. Like, the coaches talk so glowingly of him. And
that's the coaches. Yes.
Like,
and that's why Getsy needs to get him out of here.
Yes.
Like, that's the problem. And I think it's trending toward Eberflus actually staying. But I
saw that.
So that'll be interesting. Obviously, if the Bears beat the Packers, I mean, that'll be something to say, okay, because right now they're 5-2 in the last 7, and that'll be 6-2. And to go into the offseason with that in your pocket, Eberflus you can say he kind of righted the ship, but just needed another voice offensively. I think that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But we have to have something, going forward that's different. This just, you have a quarterback and an offensive coordinator that really trust each other, and we don't have that now.
Right. That's what it is. It looks like it. They take the ball out of his hands in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Honestly, even if he does, he's still the best player on the field.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? athletically gifted. He's fat, got a strong arm. Like, you take the ball out of your best player's hands because you don't trust him.
Does Harbaugh do that with Lamar?
Hell no. And he blows plenty games his damn self. I've seen him fumble. That's why I don't like him either. I'm not I love, like, I just don't like those type of quarterbacks. It is what it is. Like, right now, this year, it's working for Lamar. It is everything. And the thing is, he's seeing everything too. So he's hitting the tight ends. He's hitting all 3 wide receivers, except for Odell. The other 2, Bateman, Bateman and the rookie get the ball. Odell, the only one ain't getting it. But sometimes he gets it. But he's seeing everything. And that's the difference. Maybe you got to wait a few years for that. He already won an MVP already too.
Yeah.
But he about to get another one, but he looks the part now. Like, I can, but it's working. But what happens when it don't? The playoffs about to come, and we about to see whether or not, even though the AFC looking kind of weak. So he might get there because the AFC looking really, really weak. Only person over there that can really threaten the Ravens is the Bills.
See, I'm not a fan of this quarterback narrative, like, that, they have to win or they suck. Like, I think, like, that's kind of been, on Kirk Cousins, right? It's like, oh, they can't, we want to get rid of him because they can't win this and that. And Vikings they're about to see. I mean, if they're going to go with Jaron Hall going into next season, that's going to be a problem. And I don't know about you, Trevor, like, as far as that quarterback, I mean, we can even go back to Aaron Rodgers, right? He won Super Bowl and won in the regular season, but I mean, you could say, well, he's not that good because he didn't win a Super Bowl after 2010.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that but if I still think MVPs count.
Absolutely.
I don't know. And my argument to that is Tom Brady hogged Super Bowls. So he had 7. Like, when I was younger, we were all saying, yeah, Joe Montana, GOAT. Maybe Jerry Rice is the GOAT. They've got 4 Super Bowls. And then it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, Tom Brady's got 7, man. 7. Now,
one thing Tom Brady always had.
What do you mean?
That offensive line and a great defense.
Yeah, for sure. We struggled to defense for sure.
So that's why Lamar looks so good this year. He got that defense and he short fields.
But it does make me mad that Aaron Rodgers, like, people want to blame him for all the losses, and now he's got to take some blame because he's the leader. But I think the only game where he actually did not play well is against Tampa Bay. We should have won that game. No, it was not Tampa Bay. It was the 49ers when we scored 10 points or something. Like, they scored 10 points. We scored, I don't know, whatever it was, 13-10, I think was the final. It's like, you can't go into there as an MVP player and score 10 points and think you're going to win the game. Like, I'm sorry. It's just a fact. They won because of a defensive touchdown.
Yeah,
like, that's how bad. So that's the game where I'd be like, Aaron, you were wrong. I thought he played brilliant actually against the Bucs. It was the defense on that last play at half. They let Scotty Miller or whatever his name was get behind. It's like, are you guys kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah, exactly. And so I do think, you can make those arguments. I guess so. If it's Super Bowl or bust, right? Then everyone fails.
Well, that's why I love this conversation because, I go back and forth on Twitter X with people, saying, well, here is, and maybe Steve, we've gone back and forth too about wins and losses. Everyone shows me Fields losses and all that, but you have to look at roster. You have to look at, does Fields have to improve, do a lot? Yeah, absolutely. But, the wins and losses aren't all on the quarterback. And, if they were this year, maybe good old Jared Goff would be in the MVP conversation, but he is not.
When did what's the name start? When did the Bears start winning
versus the Lions?
No, yeah, that's when y'all first started winning. That's when y'all made the sweat trade.
What the sweat trade? Yes,
the
exactly.
defense got progressive, like super better. You know what I mean? You got a pass rusher. Now you got cornerbacks all of a sudden. Get the fuck out of here.
Tyreek Stevenson, man.
Right.
Rookie of the year. Yes.
Second round pick. Oh my God, he looks great. Yeah. Now you got the rest. Now you got a defense.
Dervon Dexter.
Now I can see. Now I'm like, it's kind of clear. Like maybe you should keep Justin Fields, but I think it's more of an argument. I still think you should move on, but it's more of an argument. I heard the Lions won a YMCA award or something.
Chris is bringing it coming in hot tonight.
I would honestly, I know it's all about Super Bowls, but boy, I would really like to have had an NFC North division title already wrapped up, and then I know we're going to playoffs. This is flipping stressful. Just telling you that right now.
I told you this summer, man. Did I say that? I said, wow.
You did, but I said in my videos it's going to be a turbulent year, and it was way more turbulent than I thought.
You got to ride it, boy. I'm telling you, man. That rebuild period, and woo.
Well, we'll get to the Bears Packers.
We turned it around.
We'll get to Bears Packers in a second. Yeah. Let's go ahead and seventh letter. Give us a path to putting the Dallas game behind you and using controlled fury to bully the Vikings this week.
Nah, man, I learned a lot last week from the Dallas game. You know, I think we showed the country we're a lot better than people have us. You know what I mean? The Vikings are very injured. And every time I say this shit, we lose. But I really just don't see a path to them being able to beat us. Like, if they play Mullen, because we playing everybody. Mm-hmm. I want you to know that. Like, everybody's playing.
It should be, yeah.
Dan Campbell said they're going to have plenty of time after, you know.
I have a couple of fantasy leagues still going. So
interesting.
Yeah, we're playing. So I don't really see a path. I don't know who they're going to play at quarterback. I'm sure it probably won't be as exciting as the first game when they almost could have won and everything. I don't think we even playing around. I think we'll this will be a blowout, man, and we'll just see what the Cowboys
if they start Dobbs.
Oh my gosh.
If they play Dobbs, we'll lose. Fuck around.
I feel bad about it for Dobbs
because he moves around.
Yeah, much respect for Dobbs.
I'll say Steve. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
I just say much respect for Dobbs. You know, we got to talk about him, you know, coming from Arizona, and then coming to Minnesota and being able to have a resurgence and just getting to know his story and him, even near the end time of his time in Arizona and then playing for Minnesota. You know, I was happy for him and this whole Pasternak stuff and whatnot and popularity there for the Vikings, and even to a point where, you know, if he kept playing well and kept being the starter, you know, will he take over next season? You know, at that point, conversations, but. You know but now, you know, the state of the Minnesota Vikings, you know, is unknown heading into the offseason to me because, you know, where are they going to go with their quarterback? Are they going to, you know, continue with Cousins? Are they going to move on from Cousins? Like, what's going to be best for business?
I tell you, Vikings. Being best for business is making Justin Jefferson happy, and he said, you know, it's not his decision. You better get him in the room and say, Justin, who do you want? Do you want Kirk? Let's take him. If you want Kirk, you got to make him happy. I mean, that's your superstar. I mean, all you need to do is make him happy.
Justin Jefferson need to think about himself, because if you go back on Kirk Cousins, he's one of those receivers that can get his with anybody. So
now with Jaron Hall.
Well, I mean, that's but true. Not week to week. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He'll be the guy. He'll have 12 touchdowns, 90 receptions with anybody. He's not McLaurin. See, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, he's good. Justin Jefferson is great. Justin Jefferson can have 200-yard game with Mullins, forcing it into him. What he did against us that week, that shit was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. He would not let them lose. He was trying. He gave everything. I felt bad for him, but, you know, it was against us.
So path to the Vikings is Mullins and Jefferson this week, or I mean,
yeah, he's gonna have like 200. You see him with actually, you should minus 92 yards from CeeDee Lamb's 200, but you know, he'll have another 150 orders, but ain't nobody else gonna do nothing. So ain't no Hawkinson, nobody else to scare me. Like we stopped the run good. We invest a lot in stopping the run. All we got to do is kind of blitz Mullins and he'll go crazy and throw to us, or, you know, I don't know. We should win pretty easily. Yeah.
You better win this week. You better.
No. You better win this week.
Yes.
Actually, and all of us better win this week.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All of us.
So Trevor, let's get right into it here. I'm going to give you the first shot. You guys the first shot. What is the path to keeping the win streak versus the Bears alive at Lambeau and securing a playoff berth?
Yeah, I'm excited about this because 2 weeks ago, a lot of people counted us out, and I told everyone we're making the playoffs. And
What did I say? What did I say when before the Chiefs game? Do you remember that?
No, remind me.
Seventh letter. I said if the Packers beat the Chiefs, they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, you did actually. I mean, now that you say that, so I'm excited. Like this is fun. But there was a stretch this year where it's like, oh my gosh, we could lose the next 8 or something like that. And that was no joke. It was just a fact. So here we are playing like some lights out football, winning games that we never thought. Like I never thought we were going to beat Detroit in Detroit. Like honestly, and I'm not just saying that because we're on this podcast. I just didn't. I didn't know if we could beat the Chiefs. And when we did, I was like, whoa, you got my attention now. I mean, then we go and lose to the Giants, right? So what's the path to the Bears game? Well, I do think that you can't let Justin Fields just do his magic. That's one thing you got. We have to contain him, and we have to stop the run because that is one of our Achilles heel for years and years and years. I don't know how we've got draft after draft after draft. We still struggle. This drives me bonkers. And then DJ Moore. Like the nice thing is we got Jair coming back. Our rookies are looking good out there. It's shocking. So to me, it's like you got to slow those guys down. Now, the probably the biggest one though out of all that is somehow containing Sweat, and that's going to be difficult to do. But I didn't think we were going to be able to slow down. What's his name? Chris Jones from Kansas City. He was nuts. Even against us, I was like, oh my gosh, Jordan, watch out, run for your life, buddy. So there we have, I mean, Hutchinson has given us major problems, but in that game, we slowed him down, right? So if we can do that, I think those are some of the keys to keeping the winning streak going.
Steve, are you, confident with the line then, the offensive line for the Packers?
Regards to the offensive line, not as much as you would think. I mean, having to go up against Sweat and some other defenders of the Bears, I think we're going to have some problems, especially since we've been having a rotation there as well sometimes with our offensive linemen. Having backup David Bakhtiari out for the season. We've dealt with it, but it's also been a carousel. It's been kind of annoying to me. But I do think that if we could get that shirt down just as much as our defensive line. I think our biggest aspect in regards to securing a win and getting that playoff spot is Valentine. I think those two, I think those two are going to be difference makers. And Jordan Love, I think, could have a career game at home against the Bears. I think can be his coming out party. It'd be great be able to drive that momentum if that happens heading into the playoffs, no matter who we face, whether it's the Cowboys, the Lions, or otherwise, and be able to match up well when we get there. But first things first, we got to beat the Bears. It's been a wild season. Heading into this season, I was thinking we were going to be all right, and now we get to the end of the season and we'll be able to do something with Jordan in his first year that Rodgers last year, whether his foot was half out or not in regards to play and whatnot and moving on, that we didn't do last year. We lost at the end of the season. We lost to the Lions, and we didn't get to the playoffs with a Hall of Fame quarterback, with his pedigree and obviously then. To now turning it around, giving the keys to the kingdom to Jordan Love, and us being able to make the playoffs in a season that even Packer fans, even fellow Packer fans, thought that we were going to be like the 80s, that we were going to be bad, that we were going to be that bottom of the barrel like the Patriots are in their division. And that's not the case, and I'm very blessed and happy that that is the case, and I think Jordan is our future. I know some Packer fans are thinking it still needs another full year to see, but to me, I think he's him. And I look forward to seeing how things go on Sunday when we battle the Bears at Lambeau.
Yeah, I mean,
Boy got 30 touchdowns, man. Crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely shown more than I would have hoped. And obviously, I think someone had pinned a video that I said the Packers were going to win 5 games, and obviously, I was wrong on that. But when you talk about everything that the Packers have overcome, when you look at all of the injuries, the Watson and being injured. Watson, is he going to be back this week?
I think he should be.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're not going to play this game. Yeah. But I mean, maybe I don't know if you're confident. You just think we're going to make it to playoffs, but it was crazy. There's no Wicks. There was no Watson. And so you lean on a Melton. Thankfully, he did some. Yeah, like he was fantastic. Like, where did he come from, right? So, but the other thing, Andy, that we haven't, and I forgot to mention, that I think is important is when we played you guys week 1, Aaron Jones was the difference maker, right? He had that, but he's not the same. And everyone's like, oh, he literally says, I'm the healthiest I've been all year. No, you're not. No, you're not. We can see you limping. We can see you walking slowly. You're not there. But that was a big game last week against Minnesota, and you guys were really good against the run. So if you guys can slow down Aaron Jones, that's going to be a huge advantage for you guys. But I think that Aaron is getting better and getting healthier, and so hopefully he continues, and that's another key to success.
Well, I'm glad you bring some of that up, because here is the Bears' path to knocking Green Bay out of the playoffs with a win at Lambeau. First of all, I'm just going to have to say, this is if the Bears beat the Packers this week, week 18, Justin Fields will absolutely 100% be back as a starting quarterback in 2024 for the Bears. And I know there's chatter back and forth about, the decision was already made. And no, these people are smart. Kevin Warren, these people are, finally, we have smart people in the front office that are, I'm sure they had to see that game and just the outpouring of the fans. I think that helps too. But you just see what Fields has been able to overcome. Right. And in the media, how he's dealt with it. I mean, not many quarterbacks have dealt with the media like he has. Certainly not Caleb Williams. And yes, obviously he's a kid. But I don't know. We'll leave it there. But the path this week is that running game. Obviously the Packers are, if that's kind of been their Achilles heel, Bears just going to have to continue to control the line of scrimmage. What really hurt us was I don't know, was the first play in week 1. It was that deep pass, right? And that just kind of knocked. It was that haymaker and just knocked us down. And we're like, oh shit, this is not going to go as we thought it was going to go.
You talking about the Aaron Jones one?
No. It was
was it Watson?
I think it might have been Watson. It was like the
first play.
Yeah, I think it was Christian Watson.
He just chucked it up.
And I said, oh no. And that
I wish we were watching the game together, man.
Maybe we'll have to do a live stream.
I was nervous. I was nervous about that game, and then that happened. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna have to start strong, but we're gonna have to with the cornerbacks. I think we're gonna have to obviously contain that, but it will help. Having Sweat, having him provide that pressure, because that's really opened up. When you look at Javon Dexter, you look at some of these other players who've really developed. I mean, you look at. Said it last week, some of these draft picks from last year. And this is why I think, Pohl stays on for another year. He really hit with a lot of starters, obviously hit with that DJ Moore trade. A lot of players that have come in and improved, week after week. And now starting to see some of that come together. So, and the offensive line is also kind of come together. So if we can control the line of scrimmage and continue just to eat clock and move the ball down the field. And then if Luke Getsy, because he is actually really good at usually the first 15 scripted plays, he does well at that. But the problem that Luke Getsy has, and this is why I think he may be gone, is just he does not make adjustments very well, right? In game, which the Packers have seemed to do really well. So making those adjustments and not doing like a screen, being so predictable with that. But if they continue to do that, running the ball, and then obviously the defense, trying to, keep the receivers in front. I think even if Watson is back, I don't know if he'll be 100%. I think that kind of helps a little bit. But Jaden Reed is going to be tough. So I'm not all that confident, but I do think with some of the improvements on the defense and with, that running game and just continuing to have running back by committee, I think the Bears have that opportunity, have that path that, when I looked at this game, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I just didn't see it. There is more of a path for the Bears in this game. I like the way we're playing. I don't know about you, Steve. Are you worried at all?
Maybe not worried, but concerned. If we're not able to get a running game going, if we're having our defensive woes again in regards to the very offense and our coverages, then I'll worry even more. So I think I'm even tentative in regards to be able to contain a mobile quarterback. And our track record is not sure that we're able to do that too well. I think we're going to have to make sure we're able to spy on him and keep Fields there being more pocket passer and not being able to run around and do Patrick Mahomes like things. So I think those aspects of the game are the most important. So I'm concerned. I'm a little leery. I can see that path for the Bears to be able to make an upset, but I'm not like outright concerned. It's certainly going to be a good game. My prediction has the score close anyway, so it's it's an NFC North battle. It's the oldest rivalry in sports and in the NFL, so it's going to be a good one.
Well, Trevor, you know me, I was super confident in week 1. Obviously, I'm not as confident, but I asked this on Twitter, and I'm gonna start with you, Seventh Letter, since you're you're on the outside here. Is week 18 more important to the Packers or the Bears?
To the Bears.
Why is that?
Because this one is a springboard.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you guys cheated us with that Calvin Johnson rule? You know what I mean?
That was a catch. Absolutely.
It was a catch.
That was a
but
catch.
we weren't that good that year. But do you know how much that game would have meant to us? You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the year, we kind of caught fire, but we might have caught it a little earlier. It means a lot to see yourself beat your, the one that constantly beat you year after year after year after year at their house. Mm-hmm. I didn't think until last year. Trevor was talking that shit last year. Like, are you serious? You can't, but like, that'll be so crazy that at the end of the year, Lions, Packers for the play. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want that. That's much. I don't want it. And then after it was over and we won, I'm like, wow, that really was important. And then we went to the next year with a whole nother attitude. It was very important to you guys. The Packers and even me, we going to the playoffs just to, compete. Well, I mean, I don't think any of us believe we're going to win the Super Bowl or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So to you guys, next year, it's like, all right, this is a game for Justin Fields. This is a game for the whole coaching staff. This is very important. It's like jobs on the line for the Bears. So definitely the Bears. It's way
absolutely
more important.
And so I'm on that wavelength as well. I mean, I don't want to hear all off season these Packers fans, and I'm sure Steve and Trevor, you guys never say this, but the owning comments and now Trevor throwing out the stepdad comments.
I love that one. That was so good. Steve, I'll send it to you, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, they appreciate it. A quarterback who messed up his Father's Day. He wished the Bears a happy Father's Day. He tried so hard, he messed it up, and I was laughing so hard. I'm like, this dude is gonna fall on his face. And he didn't. I was wrong. He has played well. He has exceeded expectations. He looks like he can be the future. So I do think this is important for the Bears fan base because we haven't beaten the Packers in forever, and just to beat them, knock them out of the playoffs. I mean, Packers have done that to us, and so it's so important. But Trevor, I mean, to be able to secure a playoff spot, I mean, that would be huge for the Packers, though, right?
Yeah, I think like the answer to this question is actually both. There's no one that's more like, yeah, your guys' jobs are on the line, but we're talking playoffs here. Like this is like, first of all, I think if we lost to the Bears, and I'm going to make a video on this, so this is going to be, I'm not saving it for my video. This is right here. I think if we lost to the Bears, I still think most Packers fans we had a successful year, man. Like we've had a wild ride. We found out that we have our good quarterback. And even though we're disappointed, don't get me wrong, we do not want to lose to the Bears. But what I like about this one is Aaron Rodgers couldn't do it last year. And if Jordan Love comes in and does do it, that is something special. He's outplayed him in his rookie year. Their starting years, whatever you want to call it, year 4. And then you do what he couldn't do at some of his best football. I know he had a thumb issue. I'll give him a pass for that, but he still didn't do it. He had the interception, right? And if Jordan Love can just look like he's been looking, man, the future's bright. Like this, our fan base is getting more excited. Even the haters are starting to go, well, maybe I'm wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And they were loud. And I'm not talking about the media or the rivalry people. I'm not even talking about our own fan base. Mm-hmm. They're starting to turn around and go, oh, maybe he is. And I think what Steve said, like, he is him. and that could be the fact. So that's when I look at this question, I think for both teams this is crucial. And but I think it's more crucial for the Packers because there's playoffs on the line. Like, Andy, this is what I'm thinking. I've been thinking all week for you about this. You should be thankful. Listen to me. You should be thankful that the Packers are good because your team becomes relevant. Oh, this game would mean nothing if we didn't do what we did. Nobody would be okay. First of all, it wouldn't be on TV. Second of all, no one's talking to us. Everyone wants to talk to us now, right? People want to talk about the Bears. Like, I don't want to talk about the Bears normally. That's a waste of time for me, right? But honestly, like, you guys should be thankful that we're good so that this game meant something, right?
Wow. All right.
And I'm not saying that. Like, I think the Bears are better than people say. I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk. I think the Bears, if Justin Fields played those 4 games, I think this is a whole different story. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. I think the Bears are a lot better than people give them credit for.
I think the NFL is the real winner here, right? I mean, they got box office week 1. I mean, you look at how much tickets went for week 1.
Totally.
And now for this rivalry to have some juice, right? If the Packers were out of the playoffs, and obviously it's a game, but eyes are going to be on this game. There's a lot riding on this game. But when you look at, being thankful, it is hard. I mean, you look at like a successful season. I've kind of gone back and forth on this. Obviously, I think I said 8 to 10 wins, right? And, for the Bears, and Justin Fields was hurt for 4.5. And for us to be right here at 7-9 with that, plus with those 3 games that they blew because of the coaching, it is a successful season. But like I've said, and I think if the Bears were to lose, I think I could, in maybe a week or so, I could kind of, calm down and justify it and say, okay, it was a successful season. But like I said, seventh letter, this is the only game that can hurt me. This is the only game that can hurt me.
I know.
And you know, and the Packers, it just makes me sick that they have been able to, turn things around quicker than the Bears. And
Yes.
Steve, I don't know. I mean, do you even think this is a rivalry, Steve, or is it just kind of been, kind of expected for a win versus the Bears all the time?
Yeah, it seems one-sided, in regard to like Aaron Rodgers using the owning the Bears sort of thing. But yeah, in regards to like more important, most important would be for both teams. I would also say, because if Green Bay loses, I know there's some in our fan base that are done with LaFleur. Did not just bury a defensive coordinator, not really happy with LaFleur either. And if we lose to the Bears, there's going to be that subsection of the fan base, the rabid side, that's going to want him gone too. So most important for the Packers, most important for the Bears. The Bears, I talked to a fan an hour ago talking about, hey, if we lose this game, we need to go after Harbaugh. We're going to have to go after Harbaugh, Michigan.
Wow.
And turn things around, and then we'll be owning the Packers. So,
yeah.
It's important on both ends. Jobs are on the line for both sides, let alone the playoff seeding for the Packers to be able to get in a whole new world and a whole new season starting next week.
So, Steve, are you picking the Packers this week?
Yes, I'm picking the Packers. I got the Packers over the Bears, 27-17. Hopefully get it done at Lambeau.
All right. What about you, Trevor?
You know what? I haven't thought about the score. Yeah, I think the Packers they have to win, right? So I can see both teams winning. That's the problem, because I'm such a realist. But I think the way we're coming into this game and what's on the line, and then we were at home, and the way Jordan Love is playing and the way they're protecting him, I just think we're going to find a way to win. And I don't even care if it's by 1 point. I just don't care. I just hope that we win this game. So, but I don't know. Like, the defenses aren't that great. I guess yours is getting better. Hey, Andy. So
they good. They good. And
let me say 30-21. I'll say 30-21.
30-21, and for the Packers.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course.
And obviously the over/under is 44. Yeah, 44. So seventh letter, I'm going to give you an opportunity, then I'll give you mine last.
I think I'm going to probably
It's a tough one.
You know what? I think that the Bears will be able to rattle Jordan Love, but I don't think that Justin Fields is going to play well either. But I do think that the Bears defense is playing better than the Packers defense at the moment. And it'll be kind of a field position game. You know what I mean? Whoever gets the shorter fields gets the field goals, the touchdown. So I'm going to go with the Bears.
Oh, okay. And
the Bears, and it won't be that high scoring, probably like 21-17. You know what I mean? 2017, something like that.
All right.
It's going to be a field position game because I can see both defense. Like, I can see Joe Barry mixing it up, confusing Fields a little bit. And I can see the pass rush constantly getting the Jordan Love, because that's something that the Bears suddenly realize they have all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? So that's my decision. I'm going there.
So I was looking.
Let Justin Fields run. They've never won when he had over 100 yards rushing. Let him run and stop everybody else. That's what you do.
So I was kind of looking, and looks like the weather's going to be clear, I believe, the whole day. So we're not going to worry about snow or anything like that. But you know who I'm going with, Trevor. I know you know where I'm going.
Yeah, no, I know you're going to go with the Packers. I get it. I can tell, Andy. I can tell already that you're actually not confident in this game.
I'm not confident. No, absolutely not.
You're actually worried. You're worried.
I am worried.
Normally, right now in this moment, you start getting arrogant, like not arrogant, but like above.
No, arrogant.
Yeah. You get that next
right,
level, and you're like, oh
yeah.
crap, he's gonna go crazy right now. Right now, I don't see that in you. I don't see that
I
in
am
you.
worried.
So.
Because I've seen this before. I've seen the Packers before, and I am worried about what we saw in Week 1. Jordan Love throwing deep. Although even last game, he had some issues with accuracy deep balls early on. Right, there were some issues that he was missing badly. And I don't know if it was just because of the Vikings, defense not being good that he was starting to hit on them, or he does have talent. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I am a little bit worried about the Bears being out coached again, because they were obviously Week 1. It was just it was on display. But defensively, you look at this win streak, you look at what the Bears have been able to do. Eberflus has really, started to do something with his game plans. Getsy's, doing a little bit better with the scripted plays at the beginning. That's why they get out to these leads, right? But they just not being able to hold on to it. So I am not confident, but I think the Bears are going to win, and I'm going to say the Bears win 30-24. 30-24 Bears. And I hesitate. Like 7-letter, I also thought about, maybe it's going to be a low scoring game, but I just, I think, what's going to happen is, both, offenses, are going to be opening it up. I mean, it's the last game of the year, right? This is everything in the kitchen sink is going to come at this game. And I think the Bears are going to pull this out. If they don't, I've got some Facebook stuff riding on that, some Facebook, some of my avatars, things like that. If the Bears lose, so I'm a little worried about that. But I do think the Bears turn the tide like the Lions did last year, and I think that would be a huge springboard to 2024 with the draft assets. Now that the Bears have secured the number 1 pick, I just think they can add a lot. And I think having this winning culture, I think that'll help. So I am picking the Bears. Yes.
Okay, so if the Bears win, you won't go get a quarterback, you're saying, right?
I don't think so. I don't know how you can. So, like if he plays well.
Then do you think you guys are going to trade down? Is
yes.
That right? Trade back? I don't know how you say it.
I think in my opinion, they should trade down even if they lose this game. But yes, I think they trade down, whether it's Marvin Harrison. Obviously, everyone's saying get Marvin Harrison, and whether it's him or not, they absolutely need a talented center. I think that would be a huge upgrade. Whether that's in the first round, second round, they need a talented center. That's been a lot of our issues. That was issues in the first Minnesota game. I mean, he couldn't snap, and so it was just it was over. And I think that's part of why he got hurt as well. Fields got hurt in that first game. So I think I do think they trade down. And
but if you think about like that, I've been kind of thinking about the scenarios here, because I would trade. I'm with you. I'd trade down too, because you get so much draft capital. It just sets up your future, right? But like, do you think Harrison, like, I don't know if everyone's sold that it's Harrison Jr. Isn't there the wide receiver from LSU or someone too? There's someone else that's really good.
Yeah, but there was talk about him that he basically played the bowl game to get a record and then he sat out, right? You want to, and who knows with that, but you want a player that's going to want to go for the win and not just records. And so that, that could be part of it. Who knows? Yeah, that's the thing. There are some wide receivers, even the kid out of Washington, Romeo Odunze. I mean, so there's some solid wide receivers that they could get. But yeah, I think they have to trade down, because here's the thing too, right? We signed Montez Sweat to this massive deal, right? And so there's this window. We've got Sweat, and they signed Cole Kmet, right? So you got this window, and then they better signed my guy Jalen Johnson. They better sign him. They got to get him, locked up. And so you've got this window, if you go ahead and start with a rookie quarterback, you don't know what you're going to get. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to adjust. So really, I think it's trend. You look at it, the trajectory is we're a win now team. And I think Ryan Poles needs to start to stack more wins as well as a general manager. And so I think that's why they would lean toward Fields, especially, seeing some of the things that we have the last few games as well. I don't know. Seventh letter. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Just one last thing. So here's where I think you're probably right. If you lose, you're going to move on unless Justin Fields, like say the score is 21-20 for the Packers, and Justin Fields plays a lights out game, and it's Jordan Love comes down, wins it to them, or whoever, Aaron Jones takes it to the house or whatever it is, epic finish, and it's not on Justin. It's not, the last play isn't him throwing a pick or fumbling the ball or fourth and whatever. Like I can see scenarios where it's like they're going to keep him. He's got a lot to promise, right?
Seventh letter. I when he was saying that, I could hear you saying this is going to happen. He's gonna fumble. He's gonna do something. I heard that voice in my head.
Nah, everybody fumbles, Joe. It's just when he fumbles. That's the problem. That's my problem with him. Like it's when he does it. It's not that he does. Everybody does. If he probably up there, whatever. Everybody's probably up there with him. It's just the fourth quarter at the end. He always fumbles. That's what get on my nerves about him. I think he's a talented player. I just don't think y'all deserve him for the way he was treated this year by the coaching staff. If they're going to keep him, get rid of them bum-ass coaches. I don't think Eberflus is a leader of men. I don't think he has the – one thing I realize about coaches, they have to fit the mentality of the region. He's just not – he doesn't give me monsters of the Midway. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't give me that. That's how Jim Caldwell was with us. That's why people love Dan Campbell so much. That's why they'll support him. The players loved Coach Caldwell, but Michigan didn't. And I don't think it was. I just think it was just the way he talked. He talked above them. He wasn't very wordy. He kept things secret. You know what I'm saying? Like they loved Patricia in the beginning, the idea of it, but it just didn't work out. I just don't think Eberflus is a good fit for the city of Chicago. Now that's just me.
That's a great point, though. That really is. I mean, because he came in with this HITS principle and with all these acronyms, and Project it was just
shit.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Not the guy that you want leading your team and in crunch time situations, and so it's going to be important. I mean, so a lot of people are playing for their jobs this week, and once again, this has been another great episode. I definitely appreciate everyone, being on tonight. And actually, next week we're gonna have a surprise guest as well. We'll kind of tease them throughout the week leading up next week as well. But we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week, win or lose. Obviously playoff position and all of that. And definitely appreciate you coming on, Steve. Where can everyone find you as we get to, as we conclude here?
Yeah, it'd be great being here. And for me, you can find me on Twitter at Army_strong_06, at Talking_Packers, Instagram at Packermania_06, or Stephen K_06. But yeah, I do the YouTube as well for my shows, and great to be part of this team as well, rotating in regards to the Packer rep. And it should be a fun game, however it goes, I'm sure, this Sunday when the Bears battle the Packers in Lambeau.
Absolutely. And hopefully next week we'll have a Viking representative. They've suddenly gone quiet, and I wonder what happened there. But you never know. Trevor, once again, always glad to have you on. Where can everyone find you and your great content?
Yeah, so on Twitter, it's RevTrevK, and on YouTube, it is Kempner Sports. I'm also on with Matt Ramage now, so I think we're going to be doing a show on Thursday like we did last week, and it's the Matt Ramage Show.
Very nice. And seventh letter, where can everyone find you?
Decker reported. 7th letter 4 on Twitter, X, same OG, Instagram and Facebook, and on top of the NFC North. The 11-5 Detroit Lions, headed to the playoffs after we blow them fucking Vikings out and their mean ass fans. They're some mean people, ain't they? Golly. And they hide after they lose. Ain't that crazy? Where you at, Shelby?
Crazy. Tell you what's crazy. I think, after this week, I think the best selling jersey in NFL is going to be number 68. And on the back is going to say eligible.
Yeah.
I might actually buy one of those.
Look.
I think I sent you that, didn't I? Did you order one?
In Detroit.
Oh yes.
That's
actually reported. Yes.
That's on the highway. Hold on.
Someone pay for that. Yeah.
Someone pay for that.
Wow.
Yeah. Tell you what, I mean, a lot of good things for the Lions. Obviously, I'm actually also going to be on another podcast tomorrow night as well with Miles Tedic.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Fantastic. So talking Bears Packers, can't get enough. Obviously, next week, either I'll be talking more or talking a lot less. But feel free to come at me in the comments on Twitter during the game. Don't. Oh, come on. It'll be fun.
As long as they're reasonable.
Don't.
I may be reasonable. We'll see.
No, I'm talking about people towards you.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. I can take it. I can take it.
Don't. No.
Tell you what, I do live in Wisconsin, and if the Bears win on Sunday versus the Packers in Week 18, I'm going to have a shirt made that says "Wisconsin is Bears country."
Wow!
And I am going to go ahead and wear that proudly for the off season. But
make it easy on yourself.
Well, you can find me NFL Outdated. They might be. It might be. You can find me on NFL Outdated on Twitter, X, on YouTube, and hopefully next year on the top of the NFC North. We'll see. We'll see.
It might be. I got a defense now. She could get different.
Well, thanks again, guys. Once again, this has been Freezin for NFC North podcast. Episode 74, and let's have a good week and finish out the season strong. Thanks again, guys.
All right, man. Peace, y'all. Have a good night.
Take care.